Hi, I'm Lucy Arndt, a professor at St. Norbert College in De Pere, Wisconsin, and I'm an expert on decision making around disasters. I've read and listened to a lot about COVID 19 over the past few weeks. I'm trained to think critically and to assess the credibility of different sources. I'm generally decent at distilling information and sharing it with others. So here's what I think: take or leave as you wish. The bottom line, my conclusion, is that we all need to act to slow the speed of the spread. Here's how I arrived at this conclusion. I have 32 points. One, the virus that causes COVID 19 is a new one, hence, it's a novel coronavirus. Two, COVID 19 is short for Coronavirus Disease 2019. COVID 19 isn't the virus, it's the disease that results from catching the virus. The virus is called SARS CoV 2. Three, the virus is believed to have originated in bats. It was first transmitted to humans in late 2019. Because it's new and hasn't been around, this is point four, for more than 2,000 years, like the family of flu viruses we all know and love, humans have not developed any natural immunity to it yet. Five, because it's new, there isn't a vaccine for it yet. Six, it's spread through droplets. In other words, the stuff that we all spew when we cough or sneeze. Seven, these droplets have a lifespan of about 12 hours, more or less. Eight, this means they can sit waiting for you to touch them wherever they land. Think any and all surfaces. Nine, so you can catch this virus when someone coughs or sneezes in your vicinity, say within about 6 feet, or when you touch something with droplets on it and then touch your face, your eyes, your nose, your mouth. 10, the virus is highly contagious, in other words, easily transmitted. 11, the disease that results from the virus has a higher death rate than the flu. Let me say that again. The disease that results from the virus has a higher death rate than the flu. 12, the virus can take up to about 14 days to appear after one catches it. 13, because it isn't immediately obvious that one has it, one can spread the virus for up to 2 weeks before one becomes ill. 14, because humans haven't developed any natural immunity to the virus, most of the people exposed to it, say around 60%, will become ill. 15, the illness that results is a respiratory illness. In other words, it mostly affects our sinuses and our lungs. 16, the degree or extent of the illness will vary from person to person, as is the case with virtually all respiratory diseases. 17, the range of this runs from largely asymptomatic, meaning without any obvious symptoms, to respiratory failure, which is when the lungs can no longer perform their function without assistance. In other words, without a ventilator or respirator. 18, most people will experience moderate symptoms. In other words, fever, cough, some shortness of breath. 19, while one has it, one remains contagious to others. 20, most people will recover within a few weeks of becoming ill. 21, most people will be able to stay home and self-medicate during their recovery with Tylenol, Advil, Mucinex, usual over-the-counter meds that treat symptoms of the disease, but not the underlying cause. 22, the people on the end of the spectrum with severe respiratory issues will need intensive care in a hospital setting with a ventilator or a respirator. 23, those most likely to get severely ill are the elderly and those with pre-existing conditions like cancer, diabetes, COPD, asthma. 24, if everyone gets sick at about the same time, there won't be enough ventilators or respirators in any community for all of the people who will suffer from severe respiratory issues. 25, let me say that again. There won't be enough ventilators or respirators for everyone if everyone gets sick at about the same time. 26. Ventilators or respirators help people breathe who can't do it on their own. Not breathing is equal to death. 27. The lack of ventilators or respirators means that people will die who would have otherwise lived. Maybe you or someone you love. 28. Given these realities, and they are realities, not media-induced fiction or fake news, the healthcare community wants all of us to do what we can to make sure that we don't all get sick at the same time. 29. One more time for the people in the back. The healthcare community wants us to slow the speed of the spread so that we can all be cared for properly and in time to minimize the number of unnecessary deaths. 30. Again, it's better if the people in a community get sick over a period of, say, 6 to 12 months instead of 6 to 12 weeks. 31. Is it possible to slow the speed of the spread? Yes. Simple steps can make a huge impact on the speed of the spread. Covering one's nose and mouth when sneezing or coughing, hand washing, surface sanitizing, self-quarantine, social distancing, etc. 32. One more time. Here's what we need to do to slow the speed of the spread. Wash our hands, wipe down surfaces with disinfecting wipes and cleaning products, stay home if we're sick, because we're contagious, and limit the occasions where lots of people are in close proximity to one another, sneezing and coughing and touching and spreading the virus when they don't even know they have it. If we can slow the speed of the spread, more of us will survive this. By definition, because it has killed people, COVID-19 is a deadly disease. You want to argue about how many have died or will die? That's a stupid argument to have. Every one of those people mattered to someone, just like your loved ones matter to you. Is the disease less of a big deal if it only kills your parents and not your children? If we don't slow the speed of the spread, more people will die who don't need to die because of this. As a severe asthmatic, I'd be grateful if everyone would commit to the steps needed to slow the spread so that if I need a ventilator or respirator, there will be one available for me, and the doctors won't have to choose between me and some other deathly ill person. Also, my parents are in their 70s, and I'd like them to make it into their 80s, thank you very much. Taking a time out from large gatherings for a month or two will not destroy our economy or ruin anyone's life. Not having a ventilator or respirator when you need one, on the other hand, will actually end your life. So, stock up for about 14 days in case you or your loved ones need to stay home, in other words, self-isolate, and go along with the measures needed to slow the speed of the spread. Quit bitching about how inconvenient it is for you if that's all it is. For some people, it's a true hardship because they don't have the financial and other resources that some of us have to more easily self-isolate. Stop saying stupid stuff like it's just a hoax or a political conspiracy or a media-induced panic. It's not the flu. It has the potential to kill way more people if we don't slow the speed of the spread. It's serious, and you should take it seriously, but not panic. Recognize that the situation is evolving and that it could be either worse than we expect or better. For information, rely on credible sources like the CDC or the World Health Organization or your local public health department. Listen to the biologists and the immunologists who study this stuff for a living and the public health experts who care about the community's health all the time. Finally, be skeptical of any politician and their motives, whether they share your political affiliation or not. Thanks for listening.